Welcome to Storytime Fun, boys and girls. We hope you enjoy. Today's story is out of the Walt Disney's Storyland book. And the name of today's story is The Runaway Lamb, from the Walt Disney motion picture So Dear to My Heart. Danny was a little lamb, black all over, as black as midnight. He was in a pen in a great big barn full of mooing cows and baaing sheep and grunting pigs. Danny's master, Jeremiah, patted Danny on the head. "Now you wait here, Danny," said Jeremiah. "I'm going to look around in the fair. You be a good little lamb, and maybe we'll win a prize later on, you and I." Then Jeremiah went away. "So this is the county fair," said Danny Lamb to himself. "Bah, bah, I don't like it one bit. I don't like being shut up in the stuffy little pen like this. I want to find Jeremiah and see the fair with him." So Danny put his black head down and began to butt against the bars of his pen. Although Danny was just a little lamb, he was good at butting. Soon a bar was broken, and Danny was free. There was an open door ahead that led right into the fairgrounds. It was noisy out there in the fair, and there was more people than Danny had ever seen in his whole life. They pushed Danny Lamb this way, they shoved him that way. Oh. Bah, bah, how can I ever find Jeremiah in this big crowd of people?" said Danny. As he looked around the fairgrounds, but he went on, Danny Lamb looking for Jeremiah in and out of the horse barn and in and out of the poultry barn, past rows of farm machines shining and red in the sunlight. A little boy blew a toy horn right next to Danny's ear. "Bah, bah," said Danny Lamb, and he scampered away. But not a sign of Jeremiah did Danny Lamb see. Danny followed the crowd into another big building. It was as big as the barns, but there was something different about this building. It was full of wonderful smells that tickled Danny's little black nose. There were stacks of golden pumpkins. There were heaped up apples, pears, and grapes. There were jars of jam and pickles and plates of tasty homemade pie. Yummy in my tummy. Right before Danny was the plate that held the prize pie. Danny reached for a little bite, but a woman spied him. "Down, doggy," she cried with a slap at Danny Lamb's little black nose. Oh. Danny skipped away before she took a second look. Lucky Danny, for if she had seen that he was a runaway lamb, his adventure would have ended right then and there. On went Danny. He saw prize-winning oats and wheat and some blue ribbon corn. It made him hungry just to look. "Bah, bah," he said. "What was that?" said a man. "It sounded like a lamb." But Danny was behind the man, and the man didn't see him. "Bah," said Danny, and skipped off away. All around the fair went Danny, looking for Jeremiah. His eyes went wide at the sights he saw. His nose and ears tingled with the strange smells and sounds. Danny listened to the music of the merry-go-round, to the bells that rang, and to the ticket sellers' shouts. Danny smelled the taffy apples and the sizzling hot dogs, and spun sugar candy and twisted paper cones. Oh, how hungry he was! The little black lamb's empty tummy told him it was feeding time. But he did not know the way back to his pen in the barn. Danny's tummy was right. It was feeding time. And at that very moment, Jeremiah, with a cane and a cowboy hat and a pinwheel he had won, ran to the barn to give his pet lamb his noonday mash. But when Jeremiah got there, the pen was empty. "He's gone," cried Jeremiah. "My little black lamb has run away." "Well, you'd better find him soon," said a man nearby. "They're going to pick the prize lamb in a few minutes now." "Oh, dear," cried Jeremiah. "Where can he be?" So off ran Jeremiah to hunt for his lamb. It was a little boy who spied Danny first. "See the black lamb, Mommy?" he cried. "May I take him home?" "Lamb?" said his mother. "Why, it's a runaway lamb." People turned to look. "A runaway lamb!" the cry went up. The shouts frightened Danny, and he ran. He did not watch where he was going. He just put down his head and ran as fast as he could. So it happened that he did not see the balloon man ahead with his big bunch of gaily colored balloons. Yikes! The next thing Danny knew, he was all tangled up with those balloon strings, and the gas balloons were carrying him up, 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 toward the sky, above the reaching hands and above the whole big fair. "Oh, there he goes! Catch him, someone!" the people cried. But Danny had floated far out of reach and was bobbing along in the breeze. "Get a ladder!" a man shouted. So he brought a tall ladder, and they set it up in Danny's path. Then a tall man climbed way up on top of the ladder and waited for Danny to come flying by. But a playful breeze turned the balloons aside. The man came down with empty hands, and Danny sailed merrily on. "The Ferris wheel!" cried someone else. "He's headed that way!" So folks crowded onto the Ferris wheel just as Jeremiah came along. He had been looking everywhere for his lost lamb. "Time to pick the prize lamb," called a far-off voice. "Bring your lambs to the judging ring." "Oh, dear," cried Jeremiah. "Now Danny won't have a chance to win." "Well, we'll do our best to get him down for you," cried the people on the Ferris wheel. But someone else reached Danny first. It was a red-headed woodpecker flying over the fair to take a look at the sights below. He spied the balloons, and his eyes danced. "This looks like good picking," he said to himself, and he dove at the first balloon with a rat-a-tat-tat of his sharp little bill. Bing! Went the red balloon. It vanished before the woodpecker's eyes. Bing! Went the blue balloon, and it vanished too. Down the bird circled, picking off balloons. Ping, ping, ping. Down flew the woodpecker, and down came Danny without the balloons to help him fly. Down he came and landed right in the judging ring. And for the grand special award, the judge was saying when Danny dropped down beside him. The judge looked startled, but went on with a laugh. How can we help giving the grand special award to Danny, the flying lamb? How the people cheered and shouted. And they lifted Jeremiah into the ring to receive the purple ribbon. Yay! For his very famous lamb. Now aren't you glad you came? Jeremiah asked his lamb. Don't you like the county fair now? Bah, said Danny Lamb happily. Bah, bah, bah. Oh, well, that's it for this time. We'll see you next time.